Saudações a todos direto aqui da nossa oficina patriótica e bora reagir a esse vídeo com essa notícia que está repercutindo no Brasil. Vamos acompanhar juntos.
The Commission, ladies and gentlemen, good morning everyone. My name is Flavio Bolsonaro. I'm a senator of the Federative Republic of Brazil, leader of the opposition, and the president pre-candidate for my country's October elections. Last month, I met with President Trump, Vice President Vance, and Secretary Rubio to urge the United States not to impose tariffs on Brazilian companies. Today, I would like to share with this Commission the same arguments I presented to them and explain why that request serves the interests of both Brazil and United States. The 2025 data show that these tariffs have not produced the results the United States intended. Instead, they have been politically exploited by Brazil's current administration. The very government these measures were meant to pressure has gained strength in the polls, while Brazil's trade with China reached a record $171 billion, more than double its $83 billion in trade with the United States. China has absorbed Brazilian exports that were displaced from the American market by these tariffs. In other words, every additional tariff strengthens the very government it's intended to pressure. Because of the limited time available today, I will address only 3 issues. All 6 are discussed in detail in the written statement I have submitted to this commission. The first is censorship. The confidential orders directed at American digital platforms did not originate in Brazil's National Congress. They were issued by a justice of Brazil's Supreme Federal Court and by President Lula's administration, based on executive decrees and judicial rulings rather than legislation duly enacted by Parliament. A 25% tariff penalized the entire Brazilian people, except the very authorities responsible for those decisions. The second issue is corruption. Corruption is one of the greatest scourges facing the Brazilian people. There is no disagreement on that, but corruption has identifiable perpetrators. The 4 largest corruption scandals in Brazil's recent history: the Mensalão scheme, the case uncovered by Operation Car Wash, the fraud involving Brazilian's National Social Security Institute, INSS, in which President Lula's own son is among those under investigation, and the Banco Master case, all occurred under government led by the Workers' Party, the political party currently in power. Brazil then experienced 4 years under President Bolsonaro without a single proven corruption scandal. Corruption has become a defining feature of Brazil's political left. The Brazilian people should not be punished for it. The third issue is PIX. PIX, Brazil's instant payment system, was created during the Bolsonaro administration. PIX is not a problem to be fixed, it's a solution. It expanded financial inclusion by bringing millions of Brazilians, especially the poorest, into the formal economy. That progress also directly benefits American companies, as the volume of transactions proceeded through payment cards issued by U.S. brands continued to grow alongside the widespread adoption of PIX, since those companies provide services that complement, rather than compete with, Brazil's instant payment system. Brazil will hold presidential elections in October. Within just 90 days, the country's political landscape could look entirely different. Imposing a tariff now that would be difficult to reverse rewards those responsible of the actions in question, while punishing those who have borne their consequences would be the worst possible moment to act. I respectfully ask this committee, do not impose tariffs on Brazil. Preserve the success of PIX. Cancel this action and let us negotiate. God bless you. God bless Brazil. Thank you very much.
Good evening, my friend Marisa. I was speaking English, so we won't have this problem at all. And I promise to improve my English to make better our next interview. Almost I'm greatly honored to be here from the bottom of Moroccan heart to speak up about Brazil. And you understand the connection between our countries and the importance of this election in October of this year. Good evening, everyone. Just over a year ago, my friend Paulo Figueiredo, who is here with us tonight, recorded a video for preview called Brazil, Cautionary Tale. In that video, he drew striking parallels between Brazilian and American policies, warning what would happen to America if you hadn't chosen Donald Trump. 1 year has passed, and tonight, I want to offer you a glimpse of what would have happened if you hadn't made that choice. Because this nightmare scenario is exactly what Brazil is living through today. Let me paint you the picture of America's old narrative timeline. My father, President Jair Bolsonaro, Donald Trump's international ally and admirer, sits tonight in a common prison cell. Not for corruption, not for violence, not for breaking any real law, but for his conservative beliefs, for defending traditional values, for refusing to bow to the socialist agenda. The same Supreme Court justice who imprisoned him, Alexandre de Moraes, has systematically transformed Brazil's highest court into a weapon of political persecution and a house of corruption. He has censored social media platforms, banned conservative voice, ordered the arrest of journalists, and shut down opposition movements, all in the name of defending democracy. Does this sound familiar? It shouldn't, because this is exactly what your deep state and leftist establishment wanted to do to Donald Trump, to conservative voice, to all of you. The difference is that here in America, you fought bad. You elected Trump. You chose freedom. In Brazil, we were not so fortunate in 2022. But let me explain why this matters to you. Why Brazil isn't just another country going socialist, but a catastrophic loss for Western civilization and American security. Brazil is not just any nation. We are the 5th largest country in the world. We control near half of South America's territory. We have the Amazon rainforest, which with socialists and environmental extremists are using to control global policy. We are one of the top food producers in the world. We have oil reserves bigger than most OPEC countries. But most importantly, for American security, Brazil sits on geological treasuries that make us either America's greatest strategic partner or America's most dangerous vulnerability. We have massive reserves of critical minerals that America desperately needs to defense technology. We have critical minerals essential for everything from smartphones to fighter jets. Right now, guess who is getting access to all of this? America's adversaries. While socialist President Lula da Silva preaches anti-American rhetoric and aligns Brazil with authoritarian regimes, our nation's vast resources are flowing to countries that want to see America weak. Brazil is becoming a platform for anti-American influence in the Western Hemisphere. This is the nightmare scenario we warn about. When socialist governments take power, they don't just destroy their own countries. They invite America's enemies into our hemisphere. But here's what gives me hope. And here's why I'm standing before you tonight. Last December, my father made a decision that changed my life forever. Knowing that Brazil's corrupt courts would never allow him to run for office again, He called me to his side and gave me the most important mission any son could receive. Carry forward everything we have built. Save our country. Save our hemisphere. I accepted that sacred responsibility, and today I stand as the conservative candidate for President of Brazil in October. And we are winning, despite a biased media, despite censorship, despite persecution. The Brazilian people are rallying to our cause. Current polls show leading or tied with socialist Lula da Silva. We are building a coalition that Brazil hasn't seen in years. Business leaders tired of corruption, young people hungering for opportunity, families desperate to protect their children from socialist indoctrination. But this election isn't just about Brazil. It's about the future of the entire Western Hemisphere. If we win in October, everything changes. America will finally have a reliable partner controlling the largest country in the Southern Hemisphere. We will open Brazil for business with American companies instead of America's enemies. Fair deals, strategic partnerships, mutual benefit. That's how we will secure the resource America needs while building Brazil's prosperity. More than that, we'll create a conservative alliance that spans from Alaska to Argentina, an economic partnership that generates prosperity for both our people, a security partnership that protects our hemisphere from external enemies, a cultural partnership that preserves Western values for our children. If we lose, Brazil will keep moving away from America and towards our enemies. Every American parent should think about what that means for their children's future. But winning isn't just about policies. It's about ideas and values. And that's where your success becomes important. You see, the battle we are fighting in Brazil is the same battle you've been fighting here. Socialist professors in our universities teaching students to hate their own country. Mainstream media pushing propaganda instead of truth. Social media companies censoring conservative voice. Courts weaponized against political opposition. The difference is that you fought back. You build a conservative movement. You create institutions that counter leftist lies with truth. You show that resistance is possible. When young Brazilian conservatives see what you have accomplished here, when they see that you refuse to surrender to the establishment, that you build your own media, that you organize, that you won, it gives them hope. It shows them that we don't have to accept defeat. Your success inspires our resistance. Your courage gives us courage. Frankly, we need our own version of what we have built here. We need institutions that can compete with the left's cultural dominance. This is why leaders like those in this room, Americans who understand that the fight for freedom is global, make all the difference. When you invest in building a conservative movement, when you refuse to surrender to leftist pressure, when you choose courage over comfort, you are not just helping America. You are providing a blueprint for conservatives worldwide. The stakes couldn't be higher. We are living through the most important elections of our lifetime, not just in America, but in Brazil, in Europe, across the free world. The forces of socialism and authoritarianism are making their final push for global dominance. But I have faith. Faith in the Brazilian people. Faith in the American people. Faith in the power of truth to overcome lying, of freedom to overcome tyranny, of hope to overcome fear. 1 year ago, We warned America about Brazil's cautionary tale. Tonight, I'm telling you that tale doesn't have to end in tragedy. With your continued commitment to fighting for truth, with institutions that refuse to surrender, with leaders who choose principle over convenience, we can write a different ending. In October, when Brazil chose freedom over socialism, when we forged the greatest conservative alliance in hemispheric history, you will know that your example made the difference. Together, we won't just make America great again. We'll make the entire Western Hemisphere a fortress of liberty that our grandchildren will inherit with pride. The battle for Brazil begins now. The future of Western civilization hangs in the balance, and we will win in Jesus' name. Thank you. God bless America. God bless Brazil. Hi.